Hey guys, what's up? How's it going this morning? I just wanted to come and talk to you a little bit. It's been a couple of days. Y'all know I haven't been feeling too great from the videos I posted, but I definitely had to come back and come through and just let you know I'm doing okay, if you care. If not, it's all right. But I'm doing okay, and I'm pushing through. And while I've been doing so, I've been also receiving a few messages that I should probably pass on to you guys. Today, what I wanted to talk about family was about shadow work. You know, we hear everybody talk about how you need to go into yourself and do your shadow work and try and figure out how to make your life better and to move on to fulfilling your purpose. But what I found is that a lot of people don't actually know how to go about doing the shadow work. So that's what I wanted to come and talk to you about. I wanted to give you just a little idea of what you have to go through if you're interested in moving on to higher levels, if you're interested into finding that God in you, if you're interested into trying to just elevate and get your self-awareness where it should be. You know, align yourself better with God, His will, and the universe. So to begin with, you know, the truth about shadow work is it's not easy. It's hard. But if you are diligent and if you are truly intent on changing your life, making your life better, then it is definitely the best thing that you can ever do, because it just takes you back to your authentic you, you know? It takes you back to the original you who had those dreams, who had those wishes, who had the idea that you could be or do anything that you wanted to do when you were a kid. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to that authentic us before our parents, our friends, their friends, any older people, any younger people that we were around, schools, teachers, just anyone, anything surrounding you has influenced you, you know, influenced you from birth. So we need to get out of that and find who we really are and find the things that we really want from ourselves, out of ourselves, and that we expect. And I'm telling you, going forward, it's just going to be beautiful if you can find a way into doing that. So I don't want to talk too much about, just ramble too much about it. I do want to get into it. So first of all, when you're speaking about shadow work, let me tell you what it is. Shadow work simply prompts you to release whatever no longer serves you. And honestly, you know, it's an easy access into learning to unveil the hidden parts of your life that you chose to suppress or not deal with, you know. The unfiltered truth is, in digging up past experiences and working through repressed feelings and aspects of self, the key is to unlocking doors to the authentic you. You know, that is what the whole deal is about, remember. Now, many people don't recognize the need for shadow work because they don't even acknowledge their dark side exists. This is something that we need to be aware of. Everyone has a dark side. It may not be a dark side where you're going to go out and harm anybody, but it's still a dark side. A dark side that gives you thoughts that not necessarily, even if it's just a thought of, they did this to me, so now I want revenge. Okay, any type of revenge that is coming from your dark side. Your higher self will not have you seeking revenge, because your higher self already knows that between God and the universe, it will be taken care of. It always does. That is just the way of the world. That's the way that it works. What you put out comes back. What comes around goes around. So you don't have to worry about that. But in our ego, in our pride, we like to often take revenge, or we think about taking revenge because that's what will make us feel better. But ultimately, it doesn't make the situation feel better. You understand where I'm coming from? I know you do. So, all right. So you have to understand that with this dark side, you know, it is mandatory. It's the yin and yang, you know. It's balance. There always has to be a balance in the universe. So you're going to have good and evil. You're going to have happy and sad. You're going to have the dark side, and you're going to have the light side. Simple. All right. Now, I'm coming to you because I wanted to speak to you on this, because, as you know, I want to give you some personal intel on not just becoming the awakened you, but also go on a path to becoming a healed you. Now, when we haven't discovered our triggers, it seems we often easily allow ourselves to sabotage ourselves by doing sabotaging habits. Then that could be anything. You know for yourself if you are sabotaging your relationships in whatever manner. You know yourself. I can't tell you what those ways are. There are so many ways. It's not black and white. It's really a lot of gray area. But if you have someone in your life and you're pushing them away in any type of way, and you know they really don't deserve that, but you're doing it for a self-serving manner, or you're just doing it just to be doing it, then you know for yourself that that is an instance where you are sabotaging that relationship. Just that's period. Now, all of that, when you do those, when you force yourself, or when you allow yourself into those sabotaging habits, when you allow those things to form, it's of course a setback in all that you've been doing to move on to another level, to awaken yourself, to rise to a higher you. So when you get it's easy to get displaced in this time, during that time. There's a lot of displaced time, a lot of mistaste. I'm sorry, guys. A lot of missed time. It's just a lot going on in my head. I'm sorry. So, bringing forward, and what that does, that displaced time, what you have to do is go back once you have displaced that time. If you really want to dig into yourself and you want to work things out and you want to become the better you, the ultimate you, then you have to bring forth all of those unconscious and painful memories into the now and learn how to work through those or acknowledge them. And then you can move on from them. It's really simple, but it's really hard in the same manner, because a lot of people can't seem to, or don't want to go back to those bad things. They want to just, it happened, it's over with, I want to forget it. But those things cause traumas in you. They cause emotions in you that can sometimes set you off to self-sabotaging another situation later on in life. So self-sabotaging is not anything that we ever want to do. We always want to move forward and progress and try and do the best for ourselves as well as the best for other people. Now, next thing I want to tell you is there are 3 ways that you can begin your shadow work, okay? Now, the first work we just talked about is introspection, or many of you heard it as inner understanding, or innerstanding, sorry. Now, introspection is simply listening to your past and present self and processing all those emotions that are open currently and that have been suppressed from the past. That is simply all it is. And you work through those emotions, understand those emotions. You have to ask yourself questions. You have to get into your mental to find out what happened, why it happened, why you allowed it, why it still affects you now, your feelings from it. Once you work through all that, and it's not about just being able to forget it or let it go. It's about just understanding why you feel the way you feel and why you're still carrying that baggage with you here and now. And what you can do to release it if it serves no good for the greater you, which many times it doesn't, to be honest. Now, the second step you can use, of course, everyone knows, is meditation. And that's basically learning to center yourself, and quiet your mind to get a higher perception or a feeling in the here and now. And I personally find that helpful a lot of times. I'm a lot more into introspection and understanding. That's what I do. I dig into myself. But I'm partial to meditation as well. As a matter of fact, all 3 of these I do quite consciously. And I didn't know it at the time that this was benefiting me for this purpose to elevate to my higher self, but I've always been attracted to it regardless. So meditation. With meditation, it becomes, it brings a degree of mindfulness that you need. It brings you a degree of being into the here and now, which also is an intimate way of channeling and working through your past, because that also will bring up things that are currently happening, things that have happened in the past, and things that may be happening. You see red flags up, but you're not really catching, you're not really doing what you should do about it, and it's bringing attention to all of that. Okay, so you want to do meditation, which is very calming, and it also helps stop a lot of if you have a lot of confusion and ramble in your mind where you just think a lot. It really helps to slow that down. It really, really helps to get you focused and focused on the here and now and just in a calmer temperament. It really does. Now, the last thing would be journaling. Personally, I'm a poet, so poetry is my thing, but it's a way of journaling, in my opinion, as well. So now, it's been my greatest release for years, and it's a very good way of just letting out your feelings as well as expressing what you're feeling at the time. Now, when you're journaling and when you're writing poetry, either way you want to do it, you don't have to share it. If you choose to, that's fine. But if you don't, then the purpose is to write it down so that you can go back and look at things as they happen, when they happen, or look at things that you've written down that happened before and kind of reflect on those things. How you felt then when you wrote it versus how you feel now about it. And then you work through that, because that's going to promote you once again to looking into yourself, to digging into why you feel this way about this. Why does it affect what's happening with you? How can you move forward from it? What really happened to start all of this in you? You know what I mean? To start all of that emotion for that situation in you. So everything that you're going to do, all of those 3 steps bring you right back to the same thing, which is introspection. It just depends on what works best for you. That's what you need to do. Whatever works best for you, whatever you have time for, whatever you can make time for, whatever you think you can handle. Now, like I said before I move on, introspection and understanding is a very big thing with it all. If any one of you think that it is way too much, you've gone through way too much for you to handle that and still remain calm, or you feel like it's going to be too overwhelming, or just to put it point blank, if you feel like it's going to mentally disturb your peace, then you may need to seek professional help. And it's not professional help because you're crazy or anything like that. It's professional help to help you sort out those pieces, move things around so that you can go through things step by step, and you'll have someone there to guide you that can help you go through those things and work through them and still keep your sanity, still keep, your consciousness or your peace of mind. Okay. So, definitely want you to do that if you feel you need it. It's a stigmatism to be ashamed of having mental issues, or even if you don't have mental issues, if you just want to talk to somebody, it's a stigmatism that we shouldn't do that. But no, we should absolutely do that. If you have something that you need to speak to someone about, or if you feel like that you need to just talk in general, and there are things that are bothering you that are building up more on that dark side than your light side, definitely go seek some professional help. I am all for it. I have done it before myself, and I advise, if you need it, to go have it done as well. All right. So now we're going to talk about a couple of things that before I go that I just want you to think about. Now, there are some questions to help you along your way when you're using one of those prior methods. There are questions that you can ask yourself to start generating the thought process as far as how you're going to do your shadow work, what you're going to get from it, and what's there that you need to look into, that you need to process through. So your first question that I want you to ask yourself is going to be, what are your triggers and what has caused them? You can write that down, or you can think of that in your head. Preferably, I would say to write it down so that you can go back and take a look at it later. And then that's going to help you work through some of the things that you've written down, or maybe things that you think of later on that you need to add on to that list. So that's definitely a great question to ask yourself when you're doing one of the when you're either meditating, doing introspective work, or if you're just journaling or writing poetry. You want to ask yourself that question so that you can bring out some of those inner emotions to the surface. All right. And then the second question you can ask yourself is there anyone you hold a grudge against? And if so, what is holding you back from letting go and moving on from that grudge with that person? Third question, do you feel misunderstood? And if you do, then write down some of the misconceptions that people have of you. Now, don't write down what you think people, the misconceptions that you think they have of you, assumptions. Write down things that people have actually told you or have actually shown you that you know were incorrect about yourself, and work with that. All right? And then we're going to go on to the next question, and that would be, what do you dislike about yourself most? Answer that truthfully and honestly and thoroughly. If you don't, there's no way that you're going to get a truthful and honest and thorough answer from yourself. Whatever answer you get will not benefit you into moving forward and becoming a better you. So I need for you to make sure that you are asking yourself these questions and answering them as honestly as possible, no matter what answer you get. How you feel is how you really need to answer, okay? All right, and I'm going to give you one more question because I don't want to, I've already been about 16 minutes. I don't want to do this too long, but I can always definitely come back and talk more about it later if anybody's interested. So the last question I'm going to give you is, what is the worst thing you've ever done, and why did you do it? Now, that's definitely a question that we all are going to have some varied answers for. But those are questions that need to be answered. Now, there are a few more questions that I have down here that you can ask yourself. I'll possibly, if people seem to be interested in this, I will definitely do an addition to this later. It doesn't matter how later. It doesn't matter if it's a year from now. If people turn out to be interested in what I'm saying, then I will definitely go ahead and go back and add some things onto this, because my purpose is to try and help people to get to a place where to get from a place that I've gone through, which is total darkness, into absolute light. That is my purpose. My purpose to help people bridge that gap. And there are a lot of people out here that I highly respect that are telling you about being elevated and being chosen, but they're not telling you how to get yourself to that point. Or because you're already chosen, so you don't have to get yourself to being chosen. You just have to answer the call. Now, in order to answer the call, you have to get yourself to a point where you are at one with you. You are finding peace with yourself. And then in that finding peace with yourself, you are listening more to God and you're listening more to the universe. And between listening to both of them and yourself, you are raising yourself to a higher vibration, a higher you. And this is where you can not only connect with the universe, but you begin your relationship or a deeper relationship with God, and you will get your directives from Him. Simple. It's really simple. So guys, take these questions, do what you need to do with them. If I don't really like asking for likes, because I feel like whoever needs to hear this will find it. But I know how the algorithm and the situation is with these social media platforms. So I'm asking you, if you don't do anything else, at least give it a like, so that it can go ahead and generate, because I think the things that I have to say are going to help a lot of people. It may not help you, but it may help someone else. So let's get this out there. If you don't want to subscribe, at least like, so that we can get this generated and it can get into the algorithm and we can generate more people who do need this and keep pushing forward to make this world a better place, So I love you guys. I really, really, really have missed you in these past couple of days, but I'm feeling a lot better. Glory be to God. So you guys take care. You make sure that you take care of each other. You take care of yourself. And like I said, I will be back. If you got any questions about this, you just put them down there in the comment section. I will definitely personally answer each question that you have. Or if you have a situation that you want to talk about, you can put it down there and we'll talk about it too. It doesn't matter to me. It's up to you. I'm going to go. I'll see you guys later. I got more stuff to tell you. My brain has been working overtime. God has been working overtime with downloading. And also the universe has been working overtime with giving me some things that we need to work on as well. So I'm just being flushed with a lot of information. You guys let me sort through it. And I promise you I'll get right back. But in the meantime, Y'all stay kings and queens and do what you need to do. Y'all are my beautiful ones. Y'all are the exalted ones. And we will get through. Not just 2022. We're going to get through this life. So I love y'all. Take care. I'm out.